everybody. Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
We need you to sort of sit down so we could get started, because I know you all know you need to get to your buses by 2:30, and we have a very full plate today for all of you. So how are you all feeling?
We got our readers down front ready to go, Nancy. This is Nancy Bolmeier-Fisher, the executive director and co-founder of the Origin Project.
And we all know my darling friend, everybody on earth knows my co-founder and the belle of Big Stone Gap.
Oh, that's a nice thing to call me.
Adriana.
Oh, thank you, honey. No, I'm teasing you. Thank you. Now, I don't want anybody to be nervous, but we have many special guests here today who support our program. And Nancy's going to introduce folks as we go on, and I will too. We'll call attention to this front row here. And these are just folks that published this book, printed it. Our wonderful delegate, Terry Kilgore, is here. And then coming through on these screens, we are so excited because you remember Margot Lee Shetterly? Okay, and big support, our governor.
You're going to see our governor
And
soon.
you're going to see our favorite Senator Tim Kaine is coming through. So
and
it's going to be a big day.
His assistant is right over here.
His wonderful assistant. Where is his wonderful assistant? Hello. You look like $1 million bucks, sis.
A representative there of Senator Mark Warner.
Oh, I was just getting to him.
Sorry.
I love him. Senator Mark Warner also. His representative is here, and he's a big supporter of the Origin Project. We have a lot of grandparents here, except they look younger than me. Where are Look at the mammas back there. Look so good. They know how to do it. Yes, they do. Welcome. We're happy to have you, and we're going to get the program started.
We are. Thank you so much, especially to our faculty. We have some other VIPs here, too. Thank you so much. Parents, grandparents, faculty, and, of course, our darling, darling published authors. You're going to have that book later today, and that's going to mean everything to you, I hope. It means so much to us. But before we go any further, I want to thank three special people here. We have Wendy Marquez, Margaret, and Shashi Gupta, who have been incredible supporters of ours in many, many ways. But Margaret and Shashi own a company called Apex Covantage, and they very, very, very generously donated your published books, and the people that they had us work with were truly unbelievably easy to work with. They told us we couldn't have this many pages, color picture, and it is beyond anything we could have imagined. So thank you. I'm deeply, deeply grateful. I know Adri is, and
Gorgeous.
I know all of you will be too.
Beautiful work and Virginia-based business. Okay, then.
It's all about Virginia.
Thought I'd throw that out.
So one last thing, and then we will go to the governor, but I wanted to thank Grace Bradshaw, who was with us at the very beginning at the founding. She's on our board, and we need everything from you, Grace. You're always there for us, so thank you for that. And then there's Linda Woodward, who has been with us, has retired, I think. One would say sort of retired, but she has become our advocate, assistant, ambassador for the Origin Project, and you will see I actually got a tribute to her put in here because this book is very, very, very responsible to Linda Woodward. She is a tech genius, and so Linda, I can't even see you. There you are.
There's Linda, Mrs. Woodward.
Thank you so, so, so much. Okay, I think we are ready for the governor.
Governor Terry McAuliffe.
Hello, everyone. I'm Terry McAuliffe, the 72nd Governor of Virginia. I wanted to take a moment to congratulate you all on your hard work and outstanding achievement. As you may know, education is a top priority for me and my administration. I want our Commonwealth's education system to equip its students with the appropriate skills to be an important part of this century's evolving workforce. I cannot overemphasize the importance of your developing and practicing writing skills. These skills are vital to each of you, no matter what you choose to do with your life. The Origin Project is a vocation of love on the part of its founders, teacher volunteers, collaborators, and private financiers, such as Wendy and Dario Marquez, and Margaret and Sashi Gupta. The Origin Project 3-book is the summation of a full school year of works that captures each of your unique perspectives. I look forward to reading your works and getting to know you through your writings. Again, I want to congratulate you all for contributing such important work and encourage each of you to continue this vital endeavor.
Round of applause for our governor. Woo-hoo! Wow.
I hope you appreciate he did that just for you, and he really values what you're doing. So that was a labor of love from him. So, Crystal, are you ready to do your 2 readings? Crystal Hurd, Dr. Crystal Hurd, is the teacher of creative writing at Abington High School, and her students, oh no, she has a student. I thought both of your students were gone, but you're going to read one and he's going to read one? Okay. So maybe I will let you,
Right here to the lectern.
Introduce. Sure. Microphone's right there.
Good morning, or afternoon, right?
Can everybody
It's afternoon, sorry. It's the end of the school year, you know how it is. This is Aiden Dumler. He is a senior, just graduated on Sunday. And he was, for the past 2 years, he's been the editor of our literary magazine, which is what we're going to read out of today. Thankfully, we used some of the pieces for the Origin Project for our literary magazine, which has been a state first place contender every year. So I'm going to let you read first, and then I'll read.
Up first, we have a Villanelle by Carrington Paris. Okay, I'll just go ahead and dive right into it. The noises of Appalachia speak to me, crickets chirping, creeks flowing, begging and yearning to be set free. Children running around an apple tree, both content yet always growing. The noises of Appalachia speak to me. To hear nature's voice is a guarantee, a language many go without knowing, begging and yearning to be set free. Birds chirping throughout the mountain air with glee, all while a southern breeze is steadily blowing. The noises of Appalachia speak to me. Ripe green leaves sit atop their branches for all to see, anxiously waiting for the day they will get going, begging and yearning to be set free. One thing that will always be, whether sounds are overpowering or slowing, the noises of Appalachia speak to me, begging and yearning to be set free.
Beautiful.
Our second selection is from Brittany Fletcher. It's called I Am. I am from King Mill Pike, from poverty and struggles. I'm from big trucks and the same pair of size 6 brown chucks. Honeysuckles and rebellious bike rides, unfamiliar places, and no tour guide. I am from the various fonts on a page and parents working long nights on minimum wage. Holding hands to pray at the dinner table, reading books because I had never heard of cable. I am from bare feet and hand-me-downs, from the saying, turn that frown upside down. I am from grandmother's love and grandfather's protection. I am from unfortunate circumstances and cruel objections, from real love and hard times, rolling hills, lightning bugs, and blowing wind chimes.
Sensational. Should I introduce?
Do we have the senator yet?
We've got Senator Tim
He's
Kaine.
there! Hello. Hello, Senator
Hey, guys.
Can
Kaine.
you see us, Tim? Tim, you're looking at the audience of the Origin Project, our students, their teachers, grandparents, aunts, uncles, our honorary guests. Go ahead, the kids are waving to you, Senator Kaine. We're so thrilled that you're here with us, very honored.
We have been so excited to have you join us, and we know this is a very, very busy time for you, so it means so much to us to have you spend time with us today. So thank you, thank you.
Well, absolutely. Let me just say thank you to my great friend Adriana and Nancy, who I've also gotten to be really close to. And it's so great to look at you there in Big Stone Gap. I'm sitting in the Capitol, where we're in the midst of a very busy day in the Senate. But I wanted to take just a few minutes to Skype in and tell you how excited I am about the Origin Project, and maybe to hear a couple of your readings. I listened to the 2 students who did the readings of the 2 poems before, and I'm really happy I can join you. So quickly, My wife is from Roanoke, and her family's from Big Stone Gap. So when we married 33 years ago, I started to come to Big Stone Gap with my wife's family. Her dad, Linwood Holton, was born in Big Stone Gap and was the I think only person from Big Stone Gap who was governor of Virginia. He was governor from 1970 to 1974, and the Holton family knew Adriana's family very, very well, the Trigiani family, as they were growing up together in the region. Big Stone Gap in Southwest Virginia is a beautiful place, and through my wife's side, I have family and friends all over Wise County, but also in Abingdon and Roanoke area, so it's good to connect. The Origin Project, and I'm holding up your published Volume 3, is something that I really support because, first, I like to support anything that involves writing. I am on the Education Committee in the Senate. It's called the Health Committee, Health, Education, Labor, Pensions. And I work a lot on education issues with our K-12 schools, with our community colleges like Mountain Empire, training programs. But I will tell you that if you can learn to write and enjoy it, everything in life is going to be an awful lot easier. I really think communication is the key to life. And so that involves speaking clearly about what you think and believe. It involves writing clearly about what you believe in your own life. And maybe especially it involves being a good listener. It is impossible to be a good communicator without being a good listener. I gave 2 graduation speeches last weekend, one at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond and one at Northern Virginia Community College in Bristow. And the theme of both of those speeches was that listening is a lost art in life. So I love the fact that you're all there gathered and you're listening to one another as you share your own experiences and your writings from the Origins Project. I can already see, as the camera's going around, a number of my friends who were in the auditorium. And so I praise Adriana and Nancy for gathering a good bunch of folks. But let me just say thank you for the opportunity to join you for a few minutes. And Adriana and Nancy, I heard that I might get to hear a couple of students read their works before I have to jet off to my next meeting.
We do. We'll go ahead with that right away because we know you're very busy. But I think, first of all, we'll bring up Kendra Horner to give her reading for you.
Kendra's written a great, great poem. Come on
Kendra's
up,
from
Kendra.
Appalachia Elementary School.
So, obviously my name is Kendra Horner, as I just told you, so I'm just going to read. I'm from too many dishes in the sink, from ramen noodles and hamburger helper. I am from the front porch, blue, quiet, and has a rosy smell. I am from pink roses with thorns as sharp as needles. I am from Sunday dinner and loud mouths, from Poppy and Mimsy. I am from the florist and the prison guards, from stop fighting and say you're sorry. I'm from that little white church not that far from my school. I'm from Big Stone Gap, which I like to call Tiny Town. From ribs and overcooked deer meat, from getting chased around the barns by the angry chickens, and feeding the baby deer by a bottle. From all those photos I stashed in my room, and all the memories before my grandmother's passing.
Gorgeous, Kendra. That was gorgeous.
Thank you so much, Kendra.
Fantastic.
Wow,
That was
that's
beautiful.
fantastic. I am from Pretty Pink Roses with Thorns as Sharp as Needles. Somehow I think that's a very sincere line. I really like it.
That's right. There you go.
And Emily Lee from East Side High School. This is one of my favorite. I heard this early in the year, and I said this to my sister who's gardening in Montana, and I love this piece.
This is Ode to Marigolds. You marigolds are the finest golden jewelry, a bright red-orange sea capturing the eyes of all who overlook, raised above all others in that wooden flower bed. Your burnt orange color calms me and entices the butterflies to inhale your soft floral fragrance. The hue of your petals is wild, alluring to all. Compared to you, roses are dull, daylilies commonplace, and even the glimmer of a crimson ruby seems drab. When I'm without your presence, the world seems to be in black and white. I miss your sweet scent carried within the autumn breeze, and I yearn to lay on my back in the soft grass while I admire your beauty. For you, marigolds, I will stay in the garden plucking out weeds for hours. I will nurture you and care for you so you may grow to your full potential.
Bravo.
That was gorgeous.
I would stand in the garden plucking out weeds for hours. Boy, that really conveys beautifully how much Emily likes marigolds. And let me just say thank you, especially to Adriana. You know, Adriana is a storyteller, and that's why this Origins project really is a gift from her heart to you. And it's amazing, Adriana, isn't it, how many stories inside one human being. And if you can just get them to tell the first one, then so many other stories will come out. It's like, it's hard to get the first olive out of a bottle of olives, and then all the rest of them come out really easily. And I think storytelling's the same. And Adriana really has blazed a trail with being a great storyteller about Big Stone and so many other things. And I hope you see her as a role model and somebody whose example you can follow. So to Adriana and Nancy, and to all of you, thanks for letting me join you for a little bit.
Thank you,
I wish
Senator.
I was
Thank you, Senator
in person.
Kane.
I could
Thank
assure You're
you.
having more fun where you are than I am.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for those beautiful words. I promised our readers that you wouldn't get nervous, but I didn't know you were going to be reading for the senator. Well, but you did great, so see, you overcame it. Now you could read Marigolds anywhere, right, Kendra? You could read I Am anywhere, couldn't you? Pretty much. Okay. All right, so now we have
This is a fascinating two-part poem, which is beautiful. So we have Diana Casey and McKaylee Stanley from Appalachia Elementary.
all right, Appalachia.
Two people speaking.
The best love story ever. I'm Haley Stanley, and I will be reading his side.
And I'm Diana Casey, and I will be reading her side.
We met in Michigan and lived beside each other in a duplex.
We became best friends.
I thought she was a beautiful, intelligent, and caring woman.
I thought he was a sweet, gentle, and honest man.
Our first date, we went to Lee Wright's.
We went out to eat at Lee Wright's.
I always knew I loved her from the day we met.
I always had that feeling when I was around him that made my heart melt.
To our wedding on June 1st, 1990, I wore a white ivory tux.
On our wedding day, I wore a white ivory two-piece dress.
Some advice we have for newly married couples is to be good to your spouse and treat her with respect.
Never go to bed angry, and always say you love each other.
Beautiful.
Okay, now we have Allison Teasley from Eastside High School.
The old lights on the wall. Two bright lights hang from my grandma and grandpa's wall. Those two old lights have seen more than I could even imagine. 3 children, 8 grandkids, and 5 great-grandkids. They were all raised in this one home. 3 generations of Teasleys. I wish I could have just seen what those old lights have. The memories, the stories. So many things happened under those lights. All the football games on TV, proms, homecomings, Friday night movies, Chinese takeout, the tea parties, timeouts, and first kisses. Birthdays, anniversaries, Christmases, and Easters. All this happened under those 2 old lights. They were the first lights my grandmother turned on and the last ones to get turned off. They weren't pretty, they were always dusty, but they were always perfect to me. They lit up my whole world. They were so bright it hurt to look at them. The lampshades on them were so old they had holes in them. My grandma never bothered to replace them. I believe she thought it would ruin the magic of them. When we moved out of the old house in Ohio, we had to say goodbye to over 45 years of memories. As we walked out of the house for the very last time, I remember my grandmother turning those old lights off the wall for the last time and saying, I hope the next family enjoys your precious light as much as we did.
Beautiful, Allison.
We have a little musical interlude for you with the famous Ron Short and the Childress family.
Here we go.
Well, good afternoon. It is a beautiful day here in the mountains, every day. Yeah. Isn't it wonderful to live in the mountains? Great to be young in the mountains. But I tell you, it's great to be old in the mountains too, especially. My name is Ron Short, and I am a writer. That's how I've spent my life. I was born on a creek in Dickinson County, Virginia, and I never in my mind thought that I would ever end up being a writer, even though all my life I've had storytellers around me. I have the kind of work that I do you don't read in books, because I wrote plays, and those plays have been produced all over the world. It's a long way from Big Branch to the Czech Republic, but my writing carried me all out this world, throughout this world. But I'll tell you, all the places that I've been, this is still the best place in the world right here. And so I'm very proud to be from the mountains. I'm very proud to be from that little holler in Dickinson County. And, so I'm telling you this story, not sound like I'm bragging. My daddy used to say, don't get big-headed. I'm telling you this because I want you to know that it's possible, no matter where you're from. In order to be the best that you can be, you have to be the best that you can be in the place that you are, no matter where that is, no matter where that is. 12 years ago, we started a music school here because we thought the young people needed to get in touch with the music of their lives and to learn more about the culture and history. And these young women around me here are proof of what that kind of school can do. It encourages people. It gives them an opportunity. They never played anything before they started the school. There are 8 children in this family. When we started the school 12 years ago, you'll have to guess which one I'm talking about, but the elder one of the group was young. Every year, Mama showed up with a new baby in the little push, the little, what do you call it, the baby thing. Sometimes there was 2 in there. Every year. So I've gotten used to every year her showing up with a new baby, But it's wonderful. I'm going to introduce the girls in no particular order, but I do it this way. Hannah and Claire and Sophie and Claire, Sophie and Madison. How could I forget Madison? I don't know the other 4 children's name at all, so even worse than this. So anyway, they're going to play for you. This is proof of what, you are proof of what being encouraged to be a writer can be. These children, they're proof of what being encouraged to play music is about. This is why we need art in our lives. This is why we need art in our schools. This is why we as human beings need to produce art. We're going to play a couple of tunes here. Get up here, Ron. Let the fiddle give him a minute there. This is a song called Angeline the Baker. It's important for you to remember also that a part of our voice and part of our language is our music. It's another way of speaking. And there's some wonderful songs that have come from this area, especially from the Carter family. It's my belief if there's something missing in your life if you don't know a Carter family song. You may not know that yet, but someday you will realize you need to know at least one Carter family song to get you through the hard times. And this is that song right here we're going to sing for you. This was their theme song. It's called Keep on the Sunny Side.
There's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and there's a sunny side too. Though we meet with the darkness and strife, the sunny side we also may view. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all our way if we keep on the sunny side of life. The storm and its fury broke today, crushing hopes we cherish, oh dear. Clouds and storms will in time pass away. The sun again will shine bright and clear. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all our way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Let us greet with a song of hope each day. Though the moment be cloudy or fair, let us trust in our Savior always, who keepeth everyone in his care. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all our way if we keep on the sunny side of life. If we keep on the sunny side of life.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Have a great day. All right. Thank you.
Wasn't that fantastic? I don't even need a microphone, do I? Ron Short he's a legend here.
He is a legend.
And he is the backbone of our musical culture in Southwest Virginia right now. And we're very, very honored, and we thank him so much for coming and bringing the Childress family, which are kind of the Von Trapps of Southwest Virginia. Now, only people laughing at that joke know The Sound of Music. Right, Linda? You know it. We watched that movie 400 million times, and it's a great one, and someday you'll watch it, and you'll get into it. Probably not you, Kendra. I don't know if you'll like it. It's nuns, World War II, Austria. Okay. Now we have, oh, Nancy, I just took off, didn't I?
You did.
We're going to go to Lee High School now, right?
We are.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn it right over to Nancy. Oh,
Okay,
these are
well-
some of my, every poem. Yes, dear?
Flatwoods.
Oh, Flatwoods.
Flatwoods
Oh, sorry, Linda,
Elementary
Flatwoods.
first. Yes, Flatwoods
Okay.
Elementary, and something you have seen
Yes,
before.
yes.
So we are going to start with Chloe Willis.
I'll be reading about my great uncle Jerry Collins. I interviewed my great uncle Jerry for the Origin Project. He is awesome and I love him so much. He is my great uncle and is amazing. Jerry's birthday is December 17th, 1951. He was not born in a hospital. There was a midwife that came to their house and helped deliver him. They lived on Sandy Ridge in Jonesville, Virginia. The midwife was his Aunt Ethel, his dad's sister. Later they moved to Blackwater, Virginia. I would say he is tall, has black hair, and is very country. His happiest memory is riding Jack the Mule and having dinner on the ground, which he called family reunions. He has 3 brothers named Melvin, Floyd, and James. He went to Blackwater School until the 8th grade. Then he went to Jonesville from 1963 to 1971. His favorite subject was science. He had a little 3-legged dog named Trixie. His dad was mowing the hay and cut the dog's leg off. He liked to play marbles. The kids in the community would get together and play softball. His favorite book is Alex Stewart, Portrait of the Pioneer by John Rice Irwin. He liked this book because it was about the people around here. When he was my age, he played in the creek, went fishing and swimming. He had a lot of chores at home, like carrying in water, moving and milking cows, feeding hogs and chickens, gathering eggs, and packing wood and coal. His dad would always say, "Boy, get that done." Jerry had a lot of jobs. He made furniture in Morristown, Tennessee from 1972 to 1973. In 1973, he started welding at Packmore, a company who built garbage trucks. He worked there for 23 years. He got married to Janet Collins. His life-changing event was when his mother died. Because she was sick for a long time, he helped do all the chores. He told me it snowed the day when I was born. He said I was very tiny. One story my Uncle Jerry likes to tell is about his grandmother, Mahala. Mahala was a well-known Melungeon. It is said that she had 21 children. She weighed over 600 pounds. Her nickname was Big Haley. She lived in Newman's Ridge in Vardy, Tennessee, and she died at the age of 74 years old. Jerry told me about Adriana Trigiani's dad. Adriana Trigiani's dad gave people in Blackwater, Virginia, jobs at the sewing factory from roughly 1973 to 1983. They made shirts, blouses, and t-shirts. Janet Collins, my granny, worked for Anthony Trigiani, and she got to meet Mike Trigiani when he helped his dad run the factory. The sewing factory was located in the old Blackwater School. Granny worked there for 2 years. There were around 40 to 50 employees. Their ages ranged from 21 to 65. This allowed the women. That was really cool since I know Adriana Trigiani personally in the Origin Project. I learned about my ancestors and my family. He told me, take your time and think about what you want to do. Don't jump into anything fast. Don't rush into anything. I love him, and I think of all the stuff he did was so amazing, and he is awesome, and he is actually here today.
Oh. Where is he? Can we see where he is? Yay!
Oh, beautiful. How great to see you. Are you so proud? Are you proud of her? It's amazing, isn't it?
That is a wonderful story that I know I'm going to read over and over, and there are also some adorable pictures that go with it in the book, so, including Adri's dad.
It's beautiful.
So. Okay. Also, from Flatwoods Elementary, we have Callie Alexis Woods.
Here you go.
I'm going to be reading C.F. Long, The World's Most Amazing Grandfather. I interviewed my Papa C.F. because he is an amazing person. The C in his name stands for Claude, and the F in his name stands for Franklin. He likes to farm so he can make money off the animals he sells like cows and pigs. He also likes to lay in the recliner and take naps. He normally naps around 1 or 2 o'clock. He is an amazing Papa because he takes care of me on Saturday when my mom is working at the feed mill. I look up to my Papa CF because he can fix things like tractors, trucks, and hay rollers. When I grow up, I want to be like him. The relationship I have to CF is that I am his granddaughter. My papa CF was born on November 29th, 1948. He was born in Pennington Gap, Virginia. My papa is about 6 feet tall and wears a hat 99.9% of the time. My papa has 2 brothers and 4 sisters. His brothers and sisters' names are Huey, Betty, Flo, Carolyn, James, and Joyce. He went to school at Thomas Walker High School in Ewing, Virginia, and his favorite subjects were math and recess. He also rode the bus to and from school. His favorite book was the dictionary because it gives the meanings of words. One of my papa's proudest moments was when he graduated high school. He probably had a lot more proud moments, but he could not think of them. Some of the chores my papa has had when he was a child was milking the cows, getting coal and wood for the fire, and feeding the chickens and pigs. When my papa was young, he had a family dog. His dog's name was Rover. Rover was a black dog and was about 15 years old when he died. My papa liked to play basketball. He played basketball for his school. Some of the jobs my papa has had were driving a bus, working at the rock quarry, working at the feed mill, and being in the U.S. Army for 2 years. He still is a bus driver and a farmer. My papa has one child. His child's name is Emily, my mother. One of the changes my papa has seen in his life were the changes in gas prices. My grandmother, Deborah, is his wife. A couple of my papa's memories he told me was when his daughter, my mother, started school, began talking and walking, and when she would jump out of the barn onto a pile of tobacco. Something I learned from my papa CF was to treat people how you want to be treated, and how it was for him when he was growing up. If I did not have my papa, I would go crazy because I would have nowhere to go when my mother was driving me crazy.
Very honest and beautiful. That was sensational.
Fantastic.
Do you notice whenever our students write about Papa or Mama and they have a big family, they just kind of list everybody and get right off that subject? Because it's, it could go on all day then. You know what I'm saying? We talk about all the aunts and uncles, but that was fantastic. It was beautiful. Okay, next we have.
You guys are just doing a wonderful
You
job.
are
I'm
great
really
readers.
So proud of all of you,
And we're getting a real sense
And now you
of
get
our
to-
neck of the woods here.
Yeah.
We really are. It's beautifully, beautifully done. Okay.
It's wonderful. Okay, moving on to Lee High School, we have Kenley Eisenmenger. Sorry about that.
I'm used to it by now. It's all right. I'm about used to it by now, so. Alrighty. I am reading a story, kind of a story. It's called Welcome to Lee High. Lee High School is confusing. Its long, narrow, and crowded hallways do not make you feel welcome at all. Yes, all the teachers make you feel welcome on the first day of school, but after that, you are literally bait to the seniors. The teachers are nice, but they all mean business. Homework is due a day before they assigned it, and before you know it, you are failing the class. All the classes that you thought were easy are now hard, and homework is literally your life now. Cancel all your plans, and don't think you will still have friends because school takes up your time. You don't learn how to write a check or pay bills or balance your checkbook, but hey, I do know about igneous rocks. Lee High School is full of tobacco-loving, boot-wearing, loud country people. The school really is not bad at all. It is terrifying for freshmen like myself, but you get used to it. It may be full of odd people and terrifyingly long hallways, but it's all right after all.
That is so great, and I know it can't be too bad because I'm watching your teacher over there who's videoing with a huge smile on his face. So, Alex, that was lovely. Thank you. Thank you, both. Hunter Sturgill. Oh, good. What's your name? Kayla? Okay, come on up. We're thrilled to have you. Good. Good for you. Good for you.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, I don't know if you guys believe in ghosts or not, but that's what I'm gonna tell you a story about today. The story I'm about to tell you was an experience with a ghost that my former teacher Cindy Brooks had. It happened 16 years ago when she and her husband were temporarily renting a house in Norton, Virginia. The house always had a strange vibe to it, and to be honest, I didn't like to be in it alone. We had been living there for years, for about 3 months, when this thing happened. I was cleaning house, and I actually was in our bedroom dusting our dresser. The dresser had a huge mirror with it, and when I looked up, I saw a coal miner standing behind me. He had coal dust all over him and even had that kind of light thing attached to his hat. When I saw him staring at me, I felt the entire room go as cold as a freezer. I was alone and got so scared. I ran out of the house. It was awful. Well, a few weeks after that, our landlady came by to pick up something of hers that was in the basement. Out of the blue, she asked me if either my husband or I had seen the old miner yet. My husband and I moved out about a month later, and we both started having nightmares and trouble sleeping. We'd hear weird noises that were really hard to explain. I mean, it truly frightened me. A direct quote from Cindy Brooks, age 45. She never figured out who the old miner was. Many miners had lived in Norton, though. This experience is one that Miss Brooks will never forget, and to this day, she still doesn't like dressers with big mirrors.
Excellent. That's a substitute reader. That was amazing, Kayla. That's with very little practice.
Absolutely. Now we're moving on to Norton Elementary and Carter Ramey.
All right, Carter.
Ready.
I'm kind of feeling nervous right now. Well, this is actually my friend's story. She's not here today. Well, she's not at my school. But I finally got the opportunity to read this. So it's about a historian. It's Appalachian Heritage Day, and there's a historian who will tell us how he lived back then. He walked in and everything was in there. There were clothes that looked really big and weird. There were bags that looked like pouches or purses. And there was a historian who had red hair and green clothes and a black shoes with a yellow buckle on them. The historian told us that he is Abraham's Lincoln grandfather, and what they wore back then. The historian told us that they had butter churners, and it was like an air pump, and you plunge the lever, and the butter churns. He said, "What are those things that y'all carry in your pockets?" A phone. Well, we didn't have anything like that. The clothes he had laying on the table looked like a leprechaun's clothing. They looked very old, and the clothes that we have other colors, sparkles, warts, and the looks so different. The historian had clothes in his hands, and he was going to ask kids to volunteer and wear them. I was picked to wear something. I was picked to wear very big shorts that he called breeches, and they kept on falling off of me. Some kids wore huge shoes and huge shirts. Some even had purses. One of the bags was made out of a real wolf's head. The nose was there, and the eyes also. But it was scary, but it was awesome. It was the best Appalachian Heritage Day ever for me and some other kids too. Best school day too. Today was a great day.
That was great. Oh, that microphone. Did we give you the wrong one? Oh, sorry for the switcheroo there. Okay.
Easily done?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
One more from Norton Elementary. We have Gracie Lane.
All right, Gracie.
Which of these mics?
Either one.
Okay. Writing with a Quail Feather by Gracie Lane. We had an Appalachian Heritage Day at school. I learned how to make the ink to write with. The history of the quail feather was interesting as well. I was really excited for getting a chance to write with the feathers. I learned how to make the ink. First you break walnuts and boil them in water. Then you strain them through an old cloth. you use the ink to write with for the quail feathers. Also learn the history of quail feathers. We got to write with a feather from a museum. The texture of the feather was smooth. You have to cut the feather to let the ink soak up in it so you can write with it. Learned that the hard way. We got a chance to write with the feathers. They gave us a piece of paper. I think it was harder to write with a feather than a pen. We got to take our art and feather home. An Appalachian Heritage Day was a lot of fun and educational as well. I learned a lot about feathers to write with them. And also, I'm glad we don't have to write with them at school.
Excellent.
And you'll notice that a number of our schools, Norton's certainly one of them, but a number of our schools hold an Appalachian Heritage Day. And so the kids, you'll see throughout the book some wonderful pictures of reliving certain things from what it's like living in Appalachia. So that was a very, very good rendition of it. So thank you for that, Gracie.
And I like how Gracie wrote not about something, but about what you need to write.
Right.
Which is very interesting. What do you want to be, do you think, when you grow up, Gracie? A veterinarian. Well, that makes sense. It absolutely doesn't tie into what I was thinking, but...
Think of something else.
I'm sure I'll make a connection here in another year. I'll come up with something. But that was really something great. Thank you. Superb, Gracie. Good job.
I think we have Tyler. Is Tyler, where's Tyler?
Where's our Tyler Hughes? Is Tyler Hughes here? I don't hear him backstage.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what? He's stuck in traffic. Now, that's something you can't say in Big Stone
Now,
Gap.
Tyler did mention he was going to be a little bit late, but probably not this late. Oh, and Tyler is an unbelievable musician. Tyler
he's beautiful.
Is a gentleman. He's a ranger at the museum, and he is a fantastic fiddler. But
Well,
come back,
he's
we will
stuck in
have him
traffic.
again. So we'll move right along because we have a tight schedule here, and we'll get Tyler for next time. So now moving on to Powell Valley Middle School with their wonderful principal, Paul Clendenin. Do I see you here, Paul? There you are, Paul.
Hello, Paul.
Paul
Mr.
has
Clendenin, Mr. Clendenin.
He has been so special to us this year, so thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Clendenin.
Starting off with Jacob Sturgill.
Here we go.
The title of my project is My Family's Musical Traditions. My family's heritage consists of a long tradition of Appalachian music, also known as bluegrass music. My family members on both my mother's and father's side have kept the tradition going by building instruments, writing songs, performing music, and passing it down to other family members. My dad's grandfather, Ed Sturgill, was one of the first musicians to play at the Trail of Lonesome Pine. One of the songs he wrote was 31 Depression Blues. He played the banjo and guitar and sang traditional and original songs. He signed with Pine Records. He was born in 1910 outside the town of Appalachia. Sadly, after 2 seasons of the Trail of Lonesome Pine, he passed away October 1st, 1965. My dad learned to play the guitar in church, and he mostly taught himself. He passed the tradition down of playing guitar down to me, and now I know how to play the guitar, banjo, and mandolin. My mom's grandfather, Bristow Gilbert, made banjos, guitars, and fiddles, mostly out of cedar wood. My great-grandfather Gilbert played banjo clawhammer style. His favorite song was Old Rattler. My great-great-uncle Harvey became blind and learned to play many instruments by ear. He taught my great-uncle Glenn to play. Glenn played the guitar, banjo, mandolin, bass, fiddle, and keyboard. He played at the Pennington radio station WSWV. His favorite song was White Oak on the Hill by Ralph Stanley. He loved to play many bluegrass music and fish. He would also play music with my Uncle Jeff at family gatherings. Sadly, he passed away November 23, 2016 due to cancer and lived every day to the fullest from 1935 to 2016. There was always music in the household. My Uncle Jeff plays the guitar, banjo, mandolin, bass, and fiddle. He got to play with many famous bluegrass bands. He has always been good at playing music at family gatherings. My Mam plays the guitar, auto harp, piano, and fiddle. She plays piano honky-tonk style. Her first guitar was made out of cedar wood by her dad. Then the first song she learned was Old Rattler. My Papa plays guitar, dobro, and harmonica. He likes to play instruments and sing bluegrass music. My mom and aunt play bass and guitar. My mom is the band director at Powell Valley Middle School and Union High School.
Wow, come here, Jacob. Mr. Clendenin, you're doing something right at Powell Valley Middle School. All our schools are great, but that was amazing, beautifully written, and you're going to be a musician. You are a musician. You're carrying on the family tradition. That's beautiful. That was incredible. Beautiful.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you. And next we have Jace McAfee, and his mom, I know, is right over there, Brandy, who helped us put this all together because Brandy is part of the Mountain Empire community. So, oh my goodness, and here's a little note. And yes, I was going to do that. Thank you very much. I see a little note for me. But several grandparents are here, and they are having their bios published in the book. One of the, what you're going to read us is your great-grandfather. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, is your great-grandfather out there?
Yes.
Would you like him to stand up?
Yes, let's get him to stand up.
And are there other family members you'd like to stand up?
All right, Mr. Carl McAfee.
Mom and my dad.
Your mom and dad. Please, everyone, please stand up. We're
Everybody
very proud
stand
of
up.
you.
Let's get the whole family.
Very proud of you, and we're very thankful, Brandy, for what you and
Oh,
all
I
of
think
you
we
have
have
done for
somebody
us.
to take over the practice here. All right.
Okay, your turn.
Go ahead and start.
Sorry.
Should I go ahead and start?
Yes, you go. I'm just going to make sure you
sound
have.
is perfect.
I just want to make sure.
Go right ahead. I think we have a future Delegate Kilgore here. He has to have the sound perfect. All right, here we go. Here you go, Jay.
My great-grandfather and the U-2 spy plane in Russia. My name is Jason McAfee. This is the story that my great-grandfather, Carl McAfee, told me about the U-2 spy plane that was shot down in Russia on May 1st.
I'm right here with you. I'm right here with you. Here we go. Ready? You want me to help? Okay. This is the story that my great-grandfather, Carl McAfee, told me about a U-2 spy plane that was shot down in Russia. On May 1st, 1960, Francis Gary Powers was flying a U-2 jet over Russia. Now you pick up. I'll read one, you read one.
He was on a mission at the time for the CIA, and he was there to take investigation photographs of Russia. The Russian KGB questioned Mr. Powers for months, and eventually he made him confess to spying on the Russians and apologized to them. The Union of Socialist Republicans convinced Francis Powers of spying on August 17, 1960, and sentenced him to 10 years in prison. Although he was released on a prisoner exchange on February 10, 1962, he only stayed in prison for 2 years. He was the Pound, Virginia, which is very close to where I live now in Big Stone Gap, Virginia. That airplane that he was flying was shot down, and he was captured. He was captured. My great-grandfather flew to Russia and demanded to free Francis Powers. This may sound like it was an easy job to do, but it wasn't. My great-grandfather made it his mission to save Powers, and he was his family lawyer and was determined to free him from Russia. He was freed and came back to Norton, Virginia.
That's amazing. Jace, that is amazing.
You did a wonderful
Jace is in
job.
the 5th grade. That was beautiful. Now, can you go give your great-grandfather a big old hug? Because he's so proud of you. You did great.
It's also a very, very poignant story.
It is.
You know, let me tell you,
I'm losing it myself.
when Linda and I read these, because we read every single story that was submitted in the book, we loved this story so much that when I spoke to Mr. Clendenin, I said we needed 2 readers, and that's very hard to choose 2 because you all did such a great job. But he said, do you have any suggestions? And I suggested this, and he agreed. This is such a beautiful story. I, by the way, love spy novels. I've got to tell you, I think you have a writer here, honestly. This was really good. But it's also very poignant, so we understand there's a lot of emotion associated with this. Thank you so much, really.
There's just so many people.
I know. It's scary, isn't it? But you did a great job, really a great job. We're so proud of you.
You did so great. You need a big hug. Come here, sweetheart. You know, they say that the biggest fears are to speak in public or to fall off a building. I think those are the 2. Yes, they're the 2 scariest things. And to be in the 5th grade and to read such a beautiful, historically resonant, important story, even in light of everything that's happening in the world today, that was astonishing.
And it probably would be surprising. Adri probably was never scared. I was very scared. But I'm not scared anymore, and you won't be either.
You won't.
It'll be okay.
Yes. And I think maybe someday you'll be a lawyer like everybody in your family.
No, basketball.
Basketball. Oh, a basketball player.
Like my son.
Well, I can't help you there.
Who's your team?
Teacher?
Who's your team? Who's your favorite
Oh,
basketball?
Golden State Warriors.
Me too. I live in San Francisco.
Stephen
Let's hear
Curry.
it for Steph
Golden
Curry.
State Warriors.
Steph Curry, everybody.
Big round of applause for Jay. You can go out this way, honey. That was great. That was beautiful.
See, I think public speaking needs to become a part of this project.
Well,
too.
clearly, beautifully done. All our students are amazing public speakers, but
it requires incredible bravery, and I am fairly touched right now. So that was very, very sweet. Congratulations, Paul. Okay, how do we go on from that? We do.
Yes, we do.
From Union High School, Cammie Austin.
Where I'm from. I am from an old red brick house in the middle of the forest in a small, run-down coal town. I am from the mountains that touch the blue sky everywhere I look. I am from long Friday night football games, watching my dad coach from the stands, feeling proud of the blue and orange. I am from 2 family Thanksgivings and 2 family Christmases, all filled with love. I am from Kathy and Roger, 2 high school sweethearts that didn't last. I'm from the kind-hearted and the stubborn, from the do-what-makes-you-happy and I'll support you. I am from an old Bible sitting on a nightstand, pages withered from reading. I am from homemade biscuits and gravy and cornbread, from supper time stories and family reunions, both I will cherish forever. In closets and drawers, there are old family albums, faded photographs filled with faces I haven't met but wish to. I am from these memories, forever carrying them in my heart.
Beautiful. Nancy, Tyler Hughes is here.
Sorry?
Tyler Hughes
Tyler's here. Oh, yes. Okay. Tyler is going to come in right before M. Okay, M, is that okay with you?
Oh, he's not in here? Oh, well, just a little vamp for a moment because he's on his way in.
You know
Let's do
how
one
about,
more.
We love to go with the flow. M, why don't you come
We are
up
nothing
here
but we are nothing but very accommodating and very free flowing.
Thank you. We're all parents, so we know that you have to just be a little bit flexible.
Where I'm from. I'm from fields, from gravel driveways and Papaw's barn. I'm from my many litters of kittens in M's playhouse. Made by my Papaw, it was a smaller version of my house. I'm from summer nights on the trampoline, black socks, dirty feet, and a race up the hill to the house. I'm from waffles and puzzles, from Virginia and Houston. I'm from King Street and Italy Bottom, and the mini card games. I'm from playing Candyland all night and from Papaw's funny jokes, even after he tells them 10 times. I'm from the sounds of anything and everything, from the static sound the record makes to the music with no words. I'm from the major chord in the piece and the beginning of a march. Ribbons, medals, and pictures hanging behind my bed on the wall. The ribbons show my accomplishments, and the pictures show the people who supported me along the way. I will always remember the way it feels to have support, to see my parents' smiling faces in the crowd or on the sidelines. I am from the We Believe in Yous to the Give It Your Alls. I am from Gina Bug and Fred R. I am from everything they told me I could do that I did not think was possible.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Are you a musician yourself? What do you play? Oh, that's wonderful. Do you think
The
you'll play it
trombone.
do you think you might play it in college? That's good. That's wonderful. Thank you. He's ready. Oh, we're so excited. Tyler, come out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Ladies
Tyler
and gentlemen,
Hughes.
Tyler Hughes.
Thank you all so much. I apologize for my tardiness. I travel about 6 days out of the week, and sometimes you don't make it places on time. But I'll do a little song here. I think it's so important what you guys are doing as young people, to share your stories and to share how proud you are to be from this region. Many times, we're not strangers to the fact that the media doesn't always portray people from Southwest Virginia or the Appalachian Mountains in a positive or in a realistic light. But that shouldn't stop us from sharing our stories. And I'm so glad that you guys are doing that, and so glad that Adri and everybody working with the Origin Project is supporting that. So I'm going to do a song. This is actually somebody who shared their story from long before me and long before many of you. There was a guitar player and a songwriter from Norton, Virginia. She lived in the coal camp of Josephine. Her name was Kate Peters Sturgill. She was a beautiful poetic writer. Most people know her song Deep Settled Peace, which is a really well-known gospel song. But this is one that she actually wrote about her home, Stone Mountain. If you're not aware, Stone Mountain runs the length of Wise County here, and she lived at the base of it in Josephine. So this is called My Stone Mountain Home. There's a dear old home nestled in the heart of the hills, where the trailing arbutus grows, where the red rhododendrons bloom on the cliffs. It is there I am longing to go. Sweet memories return of my childhood and youth, of when I used to wander there. Happy hours I'd spend by the old mill stream, never a sorrow or care. I'm longing for my dear old home, that old home in Stone Mountain far away, where at twilight you can hear the whippoorwills call and the birds sweetly sing all the day. Where the catawba tree blooms by the side of the path, in that dear old familiar spot. Although many years have passed away, it has never been forgot. Where the peep owl calls warning to approaching storms, you hear the humming of bees. Where the cattle and sheep graze on the hill, that is home, sweet home to me. I'm longing for my dear old home, that old home in Stone Mountain far away, where at twilight you can hear the whippoorwills call and the birds sweetly sing all the day. I'm longing for my dear old home, that old home in Stone Mountain far away, where at twilight you can hear the whippoorwills call call, and the birds sweetly sing all the day. Thank you all.
Hello, everybody. Okay, we were relaxing back. No, we
Another
really
one,
weren't.
I mean, honestly.
We were doing a
We
little
are?
clog dancing backstage.
He's so charming. Anyway,
It's beautiful.
we need to get going here because we got to get kids on buses. But now we have something very exciting because I'm sure you all remember when Adri and that lovely woman up there, Margot Lee Shetterly, came and talked to you at the Barter Theater. And then after that, the movie of her book was nominated for an Academy Award. She was the producer of the movie. And it has been one success story after another. So for her to have taken the time to make this video for her, another act of love. So
Before we play it, can I just say this about this author? This is her first book and her first movie. It was nominated for the Movie of the Year, the Best Picture, which is a very big deal. And of course, Octavia Spencer, who's in the film, got nominated. And we're planning on showing it to you at some point along the path here when we all can be together. But she originally had a different job in life. She was a business person, and she worked in a place called Wall Street. Have you heard of Wall Street? Okay. Leighton, you would appreciate this. She was a banker. And so she grew up, though, in Hampton Roads, Virginia, and her dad worked for NASA. And the reason we brought her to the Origin Project, not only because she's a great writer and a visionary, but because she started out just like you. She started to write, she talked to her dad. And she said, what's the story, Dad, of those ladies that worked at NASA? And as you know, the three mathematicians that put John Glenn in space were African-American math teachers from Eastern Virginia, the public school system, just like your teachers. So, ladies and gentlemen, Margot Lee Shetterly.
Hi everyone, this is Margot Lee Shetterly. Coming to Abingdon last November to talk about my book Hidden Figures was one of the highlights of my year. So I'd like to congratulate all of you on the publication of the third volume of The Origin Project. I've only published one book, so I am trying hard to catch up with you guys. As writers, I'm sure you've discovered that one of the most powerful things in the world is telling stories. Telling stories helps us to change how the world sees us and also how we see ourselves. So keep up the good work. Congratulations, and I'm already looking forward to Volume 4.
Beautiful. Thank you, Margot. Okay.
this has been quite a special year, I think, because of her. You'll see when you look in your books, we have quite a bit dedicated to her and to our event in Barter. And it's been very important having her at the beginning of this year because honestly it was very special. So we're going to finish up. You may or may not know, but a lot of the kids in the Origin Project compete in various literary events. Some can be writing, some can be performing of poetry, some of their own poetry or poetry of other people. But we have some winners here today who have been in various literary competitions. So we're going to begin with Dr. Crystal Hurd, who won in the adult category, and we're very proud of her. So we'll start with Crystal.
Hello again. I just want to congratulate all you kids. You are amazing for getting up here. And this is my second time, and it's still very intimidating to be up here. But I just want to, as a teacher in this program, I just want to say how amazing this program is, the Origin Project. As a teacher who teaches writing and creative writing, this is a dream come true for us, to have our kids published and to talk about, sorry. It's a big deal for us, and we get to talk about publishing and revising and all the great stuff that's on the writing SOLs that we are all very familiar with as teachers. And our scores were great this year, and I really feel like the Origin Project is one of the contributors. to that success. So I just want to give a round of applause to these awesome ladies. I'll read this and then I'll shut up. But this poem, just to give a little context, my grandmother is from Hyden, Kentucky, which is near Hazard, a family of coal miners. And she was a seamstress by trade. She worked at Gordon Garment in Bristol, if some people know where that's at. But she quilted her whole life. In 2013, she passed away from dementia, which is a cruel and terrible disease. And it steals them little by little and takes them away from you little by little. And so I wrote this poem called Quilting right before she passed away. She runs her delicate fingers across the bedsheet and is reminded of the steady hands that once guided fabric into the needle's path. Threads obedient to orderly lines, dictated by long and slender leaders, confident as the dull, steady rhythm of the pedal beneath, perforated patchwork into patterns, uniting, mending pieces into wholes. Now she may not recall those contented days in the sun, grandchildren conquering the countryside from a wheelbarrow, exploring the mystery of the wood, honeysuckle fragrance mingled with roses, gathering eggs and hearing the chickens chorus, the evening breeze on a sunburned face, of industry and self-sufficiency, of the crook of her arms striped by a bag swollen with the garden's harvest, of love's namesake. Her memories are fragmented now, seams divorced and ragged, a chronology interrupted by a cruel disease, her mind a miscellany. These excerpts in abundant life, haphazardly tethered, are all that remains. Yet as evening descends, there is still the glory of her art. These cherished, varied patterns of vibrancy and texture married into one brilliant tapestry, whose warmth and wisdom will surround me until I find her again. Thanks.
Oh.
Gorgeous.
Crystal, that was so beautiful. And I was just thinking how blessed we are and how blessed these students are to have adults who are their teachers who not only love writing and are exceptional at it, but then enter competitions. It's like the perfect modeling and the perfect thing in the world. So bravo, Crystal, that's really wonderful. And next we have a winner from the Fox Festival from Flatwoods Elementary, Riley Lawson.
Lost and found. While some might find this dull, my most exciting times are when I'm curled up in a chair, losing myself in a book. In a book, I can become that princess with kingdoms at my command or soar to other places. Mysteries I solve, friends I make. No country is too far to explore. All my dreams are achievable. Things I create, fossils I find. No hole too deep to dig. I believe I really do. Nothing is impossible. Bright and shiny blue skies, followed by a dark and starry night. As the unicorn skips across the rainbow, sequins fly through the sky. Magic I perform, spells I cast. Sights I seek so elegant and bright. So you see, when I lose myself in a book, I also find myself.
You can see why it was an award winner. It's very, very good.
Amazing.
And now we have a true musician. I know many of you know Isabella Roos, and she wrote about her own love of music, and this is something that is so special. So Isabella, would you please read for us?
The heavy harp. The heavy harp rests on my shoulder as I place the fingers of my left hand on the red and white strings. Stretching my fingers 4 strings apart, the strings vibrate as I pick at 3 strings with my right hand. The sound is slow and steady as my fingers learn their places. I imagine more and more angels in the room with each new sound. I want to close my eyes for a moment and enjoy the sounds, but I can't feel the right strings. Yet again, I look to place my fingers to make my favorite folk sound.
That is so descriptive and so beautiful. And our last reader is Molly Weitzman. Molly stole my heart, truly, 2 years ago when I met her, and she published in our first book. But it was because she talked and gave a presentation in her class about being somewhat unusual in growing up in Big Stone Gap, and submitted a story that was absolutely so beautiful, and a recipe of her bubby. So it was wonderful. But now she's with us because she's an award winner forensic poet, and she presents her poetry, she writes her own poetry. I think sometimes when you present, you have to read other people's poetry, and she just won in the Virginia Forensics. But she is presenting for us an original poem of hers. So Molly, we're thrilled to have you.
Hi. The poem I did for forensics, it was called Rigged Game by Dylan Garrity, and it really helped me figure out why poetry means so much to me, because I learned a lot from it and I touched other people when I read it. And so here's a poem about the way I feel with poetry. We speak of poems as if they are what girls write in black fishnet tights, cropped short hair, thrust full of love phrases and symbolic nonsense. They are tossed aside with love letters and old shoes. Things children learn are silly, like nursery rhymes. No one cares to tell you that there is a rhythm. There is a song in words attached together, begging for someone to hear, whispering for no one to hear. Poems are not simply for romantics. They are for anger and hatred, police brutality, racism, assault, PTSD, trauma, disease. They are ridges and crests of words falling from a tongue. Mountains and oceans swimming with laughter and the brush against a cheek, emotion running through every syllable like a dream you can't hold on to. A lullaby, but you can't remember the words, only the heartbeats. Poems are a voice waiting for someone to care long enough to listen, to learn, to breathe.
Oh, you're the best. You really are. I think that's just astonishing. I feel certain if Molly wants to write poetry, perform poetry, she can do whatever she wants. So you're our guiding star, Molly. Thank you. I think we're there, and we made it 2:24. You're going to make it to your buses at 2:30. Did I do okay,
Let's thank
Mr.
Alan
Vic
Maggard
Glendenning?
up there. Let's thank Mr. Alan Maggard.
Thank you, Alan. You're the best.
Where's our friend on the floor here?
Where
He has a really great name. Where is he?
is he here?
T-Bone.
Where is T-Bone? I don't see T-Bone, but T-Bone completely made the Skype work. Thank you, T-Bone.
Thank you, T-Bone. We lost you. Now you're up there. T-Bone's everywhere. Nancy, this was an extraordinary program. We want to thank our good friends who came and represented Senator Mark Warner, our great delegate Terry Kilgore, big supporter, Leighton Harding. I can go down the line. Who am I leaving out over here? Okay, yes, Tim Kaine's office, right? Senator Tim Kaine's office.
Laura Blevins.
Laura, don't get mad at me. You look good. That's enough. And then you met all of our friends who helped us get us published here, Wendy and the Guptas. And you will leave today, I believe, with this beautiful, I love a bookmark. You need it. Well, you have it. You use it as your program. And then you're going to receive your published book, your name in it.
With an index this year. We didn't
And it
have
has
that
an
before.
index.
We could thank the Guptas
So, you
for
know,
that.
it's one of those things where you can look yourself up and read it 40 times and then read everyone else's. You know, I know how that works. But we want to thank the teachers, our teachers who are really our treasure. And I want to thank these emotional readings today were beautiful. You did great. They were perfect. They were phenomenal. And to win state forensics, is a very big deal. I will leave everyone with this thought. We used to all come from our end of the state and go to Charlottesville and do forensics. And I did poetry reading. And you know, you tried to bond with the kids from Southwest Virginia because you felt like you were against the big cities and you wanted to win. You really wanted to win. So I realized when I got into the room, I thought, well, I'm not going to win because I didn't compete with them. And there was a boy from Wise there named Billy Prince. Remember Billy Prince? And we had our poems, so we kind of bonded in the back of the room. And I said, Billy, you be there for me? So I'm there for you, I'm there for you. We were tight, back of the room. And then suddenly the door blew open. And there was this beautiful girl came into the room. I looked at Billy, Billy looked at me. She had long blonde hair, and she was from Appalachia, Virginia. Her name was Stephanie Cornett. And she said, excuse me, I just signed up for the poetry competition. We'd been practicing for 6 months to try to win this thing. And she saw there was a space, and she went in, as you can do. You know, if your school doesn't, she came in. So we were reading our poetry. Mine was Carl Sandburg. Billy Prince was doing something by Sylvia Plath. I'm a little clumsy. And we were ready. Stephanie breezes up to the podium. You're going to love this too. She breezes up to the podium, and she said, last night I was thinking, I was inspired. She said, I'm going to read a poem I wrote last night. I pictured Jesus on Calvary. It's called Dusty Feet. Billy Prince looked at me and he said, it's over. We're finished. She's going to get first place. And she got first place. So the moral of the story is, read about Jesus. No, write your poems. Write your poems instead of your Bible, but read, write, get in there, and don't be afraid. Try things. You'll win. Girl from Appalachia took the whole thing. And on that note, get your books on the way out, and we will see you in the fall with the Origin Project, our 5th year. Nancy, why don't you play us out?
We are proud of you. We hope you enjoy the book, but most of all, have a wonderful summer. Recharge. Have a good time.